Because I know that I naturally have this tendency to kind of like lift my eyes slightly when I'm talking or when I'm on camera, because I know it kind of, can you see how that just like lifts it? Now if I just drop it, you can see, here you can see that line, right? So that's where that hooded kind of hoodedness comes in. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, which is all about educational beauty. Now in today's video, I'm going to show you why I think this eye makeup technique is better than most standard eyeliner looks for hooded eyes. This is a highly requested video. So many of you guys have been asking for this video, so I'm really excited to do it. This is a look that I feel works really well on hooded eyes, and I do it a lot on my clients that have hooded eyes. Now, before we jump into the video, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. And I'm on Instagram, so you can catch me there for some daily beauty news and just generally what I get up to when I'm not filming for YouTube. So let's go straight into the video. So this is a technique that I've been wanting to share for a little while. I do have very slightly hooded eyes. It's enough for me to be able to show you this look, which is great. Now, I could show you the obvious kind of like batwing eyeliner look, which is great for hooded eyes, but I feel like that can look a little bit harsh. And that's why I'm going to show you this, which I personally feel is better than that traditional eyeliner technique for hooded eyes, because it looks great when you're looking ahead, but when you look down, you can see this awful kind of like really like square finish in the center there. And I just don't like that. I will show you maybe another time, because maybe you guys could still wear it, but I want to show you something which is a bit more wearable, but still gives you that eyeliner look. Now you want to make sure you have a good matte brown eyeshadow and a matte black eyeshadow. I'm going to be using the Tartelette Amazonian clay palette because it has a good selection of browns in there and it has a great black in there too. And you want to make sure that brown is almost like a milky chocolate color, so not too dark in a brown. And also I'm going to be using my Huda Beauty Lifeliner liquid eyeliner. It's the pen. So I'm going to start with this, and what I'm going to do is draw a really thin line all the way across. I'm not going to go all the way to the end of the lash line. I'm going to just take it a little bit higher. Now, if you already have kind of eyes which are quite kind of slanted and go upwards here, then you don't really need to leave a little bit of a gap there. You could potentially just go to the end of your lash line. I feel that my eyes were a little bit kind of, they droop down a little bit like my lash line does. It's not so obvious now because I've applied my foundation and concealer in a certain way to give me a lifted look, but I do want to kind of like just leave a bit of a gap so I can add a little bit more of a lifted look. You really want to take your liner to where you want that wing to go. Now, I'm going to start by applying this super close. That's about where I'm going to take it. It's just literally a tiny gap there, so I haven't taken it all the way to the end of my lash line. Now you can see that my liner is pretty thin. It's not too thick. You can make it as thick as you want. I'm going to keep it like this, and maybe we can thicken it up if we feel like we need to. So now that we've got that base, now this is where I'm going to kind of create a really nice wing, but I'm going to apply it with the eyeshadow. You can apply it with your liner if you want to, but if you're kind of not too confident with your eyeliner, then you can use your eyeshadow, and I'm going to show you that way, because just in case there are some of you who don't feel so confident using a liquid pen to actually do your wing, if you find it's generally quite difficult for you anyway, then this is where I'm going to show you with the eyeshadow. So you could just kind of swap it over if you're already comfortable with this part and use your liquid pen. Now this is where you really want to make sure you relax your eyes. Now, because I know that I have a slightly hooded eye here, you can see that this bit kind of here is kind of like drooping a little bit, because I know that I naturally have this tendency to kind of like lift my eyes slightly when I'm talking or when I'm on camera, because I know it kind of, can you see how that just like lifts it? Now if I just drop it, you can see, here you can see that line, right? So that's where that hooded kind of hoodedness comes in. So this is where, you know, usually I would kind of like be like that, but I think it's just so natural for me. I just walk around like this now. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead with that black. I'm going to apply it with my winged liner Sigma brush E06. Now this is where you want to really relax your eyes, and I'm not going to talk through this part because I feel like if I start talking, I'm naturally going to lift my eyes, and I really want to make sure that you see exactly how you can do this. Now I'm going to just turn my face this way so you can really see that line, right, where that hoodedness, is that even a word? Where that hooded section is. Okay, so this is where we're gonna like lift it. We're gonna just create a line. So that's my wing, right? That wing is perfect. in the sense that that's as far as I want it to kind of go out. So we're going to leave that as it is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to apply a little bit more black to that brush. Now this is where you can see this line, right? What we're going to do is we're going to like go from the end of this up until that line. So you can see I'm just going up to that crease. Now if I was to kind of like go like that, you can see I've touched those areas there, don't worry about that. But you can see how if I was to kind of like go all the way across, my eyeliner would be super thick. Now what I'm going to do is just fill in that little wing. We're not going to worry about the rest of the eye at the moment. We're just going to fill this in. And this is where I'm using the black. Now I'm just going to kind of like go along here and just fill in this bit here. Don't worry about taking it all the way to the top. So you can see how now, do you remember that kind of bat wing finish that I told you about? See, straight ahead, it looks great. But then there, you can see that kind of like finish there. So that like corner square thing. So, okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take another brush. I'm gonna take my Sephora 18 brush and go into the shade Dreamer in this palette, which is that nice milky chocolate. And I've taken the excess off the brush on the back of my hand. And basically what I'm gonna do now is I'm holding my brush like this, and I'm just going to kind of like very lightly blend upwards. Not like move the brush around, but dragging the color. Okay, so you can see how we've applied that brown there. It's kind of like filled in that section there. So now I've taken everything off of this brush, and whatever's left on my eye, we're going to start blending that. So in very small movements, I am literally very lightly pressing. I'm hardly kind of like, I'm not pressing too hard. It's like skimming over the skin. And you can see I'm just kind of like blending all of it together. Now that brown shade is nicely kind of like transitioning into that black, right? So don't worry about the shape so much. You can see I'm looking straight ahead. Now this is where this section here, you want to make sure that this basically goes above the crease a little bit. So I know I can see that line there. So I want to make sure from here, we're just dragging this up a bit. Ignore the crease, just try, relax your eye, but try and just go over everything, like go over the crease and like act like it's just completely flat there. Imagine it to be completely flat and you're not trying to like work around anything, you're just going over it. So if I look straight ahead, you can see that I've got that nice feline look. It still looks like an eyeliner look. If I look down, it doesn't look like there's any kind of like bat wing finish to it. It's much better for hooded eyes. I feel like this generally is something that a lot of people can do. It's very easy to do once you've got the hang of it. It's really a case of kind of just imagining that your eye area is completely flat. I think the problem that a lot of people have when it comes to hooded eyes is that when you're applying eye makeup, you're looking at it and you're like, oh my god, like I can see this line, that hooded area. You've got to just imagine that it's completely flat and just apply everything like, you know, like blend everything together on top, like even on top of that crease area. So kind of go over the line because you have to work on the area that is visible. You don't need to kind of stretch and try and get into the crease because when your eye is relaxed, you can't actually see in the middle of that crease. So there's no point trying to work on that area. Work on everything that is visible. So always do your eye makeup kind of looking straight ahead. You saw that most of what I was blending was done with, I basically held a mirror like this directly underneath the camera so that it's completely straight and I can see exactly what I'm doing. If I was to like go like this, I'm gonna end up with a completely different finish. So you've really got to make sure that you get your angle right too. It isn't just about where you apply the product and the placement and the blending and the shape. It's also about your angle. Like how are you looking in the mirror? Like at what angle are you looking in the mirror? Because that makes a huge difference as to how your whole look will turn out too. So if you want to, you can now actually go over with your eyeliner and just kind of like thicken it up a little bit. Like, you know, just make it connect to the end. So basically what you've done is you've got your eyeliner, you haven't actually filled it in there, but what's filled it in is the eyeshadow. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same on the other eye so that I look symmetrical. So this is where I wanna make sure that my wing is exactly the same. It's like symmetrical. Hopefully you can see how this really does give you that nice winged look without having to have that kind of bat wing finish to the eyeliner. So personally, I feel like this is a great option if you have hooded eyes. Now, the main key points to remember is that you want to make sure that you forget that there is a crease there. Just ignore that. I know it's really difficult to do, but you've got to learn to ignore the crease and go over it. Always go on top of the crease a little bit when you're smudging that color, because you want to make sure that when your eyes are open, you're looking straight ahead. That's what you're seeing. So if that's what you're going to see, you want to make sure that that's what you're blending on. You don't want to kind of look down, stretch your eyelids, just look straight ahead with the mirror right in front of you. Relax your eyes so that you can kind of really get to kind of work on top of the crease. And when you look down, at least you know you don't have that kind of square finish there, but it's a lot more blended and it just doesn't look so kind of harsh. So I really do hope that this video has helped you, especially if you have hooded eyes. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments box below. Now, as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. Until the next video, take care and I'll see you soon.